Welcome to the Actors Platform. I'm your host, Steve Collins. Today's guest is local actor Scott Swope. Thank you, sir, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're originally from Baltimore.
Yep.
Where'd you grow up?
Grew up in Ellicott City. Homeboy, always lived there my whole life. Like I say, I went to high school there. Live in Columbia, Maryland now.
Okay. What was life like growing up in Ellicott City?
Well, I was a jock growing up, and I played all the sports in high school and graduated from high school and went to play football at a university, Washington Lee University.
Okay.
Actually did pretty well and had a tryout with the New England Patriots when I graduated. That didn't pan out real well. I was released and they told me to play some semi-pro football, so I played for the Baltimore Eagles.
Great.
Which was around for a long time, and in doing that they asked me to come back another year, and I came back and it turned out the same way, so started my career.
So football, NFL, it is an entertainment.
Sure.
It is professional sports, but it is an entertainment industry. So as a quarterback, let's say improv, trying to fake out the defensive backs, you think, one, is that a fair statement? You're doing a little...
Acting.
Definitely.
And I think by being a quarterback and going through that type of thing and being out front, it's helped me with my acting too, because I'm really not, I've done a lot of things before. I don't really get nervous when the director says action,
right?
Because I've seen a lot and I've done a lot. So
you have about 3 seconds or 3 to 5 seconds when you're in the pocket.
Exactly.
Is there any particular event or person that was the catalyst for you to get into performing arts? So
I coached football in high school for a long time, and one of the players that I had. I saw him in the gym, we were big workout guys, and I actually played against his father. And I saw him in the gym. My son and I have always had this intrigue and interest in how they make movies and stuff like that. And we were talking to him, and I said, man, I'd really like to get involved with that. And he goes, Coach, you should put in for a police officer or a SWAT guy. And I was like, well, I'd love to. How do you do it? And he goes, get on the Dragonuck website. And he gave me the website. So I got on the website.
There you go, folks.
I got on the website that night and applied, put my name in, and they sent me the thing back to say, we want you to join. So I'm sitting in the kitchen, my wife is on the couch, and I get on the site, and I see this job announcement, and they want this person that looked like me. It was uncanny, but he was a serial killer, and he was in jail in Texas, and it was a true story. So and so I said, oh, what the heck, I'll put in for this. So I put in for it, and I didn't have anything, no headshot, no resume, or anything.
Yeah.
So I put in for it with just a selfie, and hit send. I'm sitting there, we're talking to my wife, and all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, I get an email from a production company, a casting company in Silver Spring that we all know. And I was like, oh my gosh.
That quick.
They just contacted me to be a serial killer. And my wife now, she's laughing at me. She goes, you started this.
Yeah.
So what am I going to...
So what happened to being a cop? Now all of a sudden you're playing bad guys.
So anyway, I say, sure, I'll do it. Well, I've never done this before. I was cast to be...
Well, I hope not.
No, not a serial killer, that's for sure. But I was cast when I was playing semi-pro football to be in the movie Diner. Out of the blue because of being a quarterback, and I was cast to be Johnny Unitas, to go back here a little bit, and that kind of got my interest sparked. I went down to Owings Mills for the fitting for Johnny's high tops and number 19 and all that stuff, the crew cut, and we're all set to start filming Diner, and I got a call from them, and they said, we've gone a different direction, we're going to use the stock footage of the game. So it kind of broke my heart, So anyway...
We did get a little compensation for the fit.
Yeah.
Got a little bit.
So fast forward now, I say, okay, they send me the address where to go. And now my heart is pounding like crazy. I'm like, it'll be all right. So I'm driving to Silver Spring, got my phone, trying to find where I go, have to find parking, get the parking, walk around. Now, when I go upstairs, I go into this beautiful office, and there's a beautiful person behind the desk, and she goes, "Oh, yes, you must be Scott Swope." And I said, "Yes." She goes, "Have a seat. The director will be right out, and the producer and the casting director." I'm like, "Okay." And she said, "Did you get the email with the sides you're supposed to learn?" And I was like, first of all, I thought, what are sides?
Yeah, what's the side?
And then I was
What
like,
is a side? For those of you that don't know.
that's like when you get your lines and what you're supposed to be memorizing for your audition.
All right.
So I said, "No, I did not." She goes, "Well, here's a piece of paper. We want you to take a look at. You don't have to memorize, but here's a paragraph of information that they wanted me to perform in the in the audition."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh boy!" So I'm sitting here reading this, and I had like 2 minutes before the casting director came out. And she goes, "Okay, the director would like to see you." And now I'm walking through this office in Silver Spring. It's just gorgeous, and there's people everywhere. As I'm walking through, I can see they're looking at me, going, "That's the guy.
Yeah.
He looks like the
Yeah,
guy."
he
you
looks
know?
like the guy.
And now my heart is really pounding.
Yeah.
So I go into the director is standing there at a door, and it's open. And I walk up, and I look in, and here's this little room with a camera in front of a couch. And all I can think of, oh my God, the casting couch is real.
Yeah,
You hear about the casting couch.
Right.
And I walk in there, so I'm nervous as anything, and the guy's trying to make me calm, he's calming me down. He goes, "We would like," he goes, "you look just like the guy. We're going to add some tattoos and stuff to you, but we need you to improv 2 scenes." So I'm like, "Okay, improv." Okay, so he goes, "The first scene is..."
Football training.
Yeah.
Here we go.
The first scene is what I was supposed to be attacking a guard, because the guy really attacks a guard, kills him, drags a female guard out and becomes a hostage. And we want you to do that. So I did that. And it's kind of hard to fight somebody when you're by yourself.
Yeah.
So the guy was like, he was really nice. He goes, "Well, that was pretty good. That was pretty good." And I did tell him when I came, this is my first time. I originally applied just to be like in the background. He goes, "That's okay." He goes, "This time we want you to, you've taken this guard, you guys are holed up in a train boxcar, okay? And you're like pouring your heart out to this guard that you never committed any of these crimes.
Mm-hmm.
You get emotional and stuff like that." So I did that, and I did it pretty well. I started to get a little tear in my eye and everything. And he goes, "That was great." And I said, "Oh, geez." And so he goes, "It's between you and another guy coming from Philadelphia." Long story short, I didn't get that role, but I was an inmate for the scene. And
all that work, you shed a tear, but yeah. But
well, and it was 2 days of like 14-hour filming at the Jessup prison.
Yeah.
So it was an experience.
That's an eye-opener
Yeah,
right there.
it was an experience.
Right. Well, Scott, I think we talked earlier, you've been at this about 5 years? You've been pursuing?
A little over 5 years,
Yeah, a little over 5 years. What project have you worked on that so far is your finest moment, you're most proud of, or you're like, man, you're getting somewhere, you're making progress?
I've had a couple that I really enjoyed doing. One was I played a police officer where I actually got to drive a police car about 70 miles an hour down this stretch down in Northern Virginia. It was very exhilarating.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was a smaller production, that was local production, but I got to be in the movie Shock and Awe that Rob Reiner directed.
Okay.
And that was like unbelievable to see all the stuff that went into producing that film. And that's one of the reasons I like to get into it, to see how everything was made. So we shot that movie in DC, and I was supposed to be a National Guardsman, and 2 of us were out in front of a building, and they had this massive boom camera that was in front of us. And Rob Reiner, who I watched as a kid, he's out there directing, he's joking around with everybody, and there was this boom camera, I swear it was 40 feet long, and the whole scene was us standing there with weapons, guarding. It was supposed to be after 9/11, and this camera pans down from the top, showing the name of the building, pans down, and it focuses on me and the other guard.
Yeah.
And Rob Reiner's looking at it, and we're standing around. I mean, this camera's like right up in our face. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is going to be
Real
big.
deal.
This is a big movie, And then it pans down the street. And then we shot another scene where I guess he liked my look, and there was a scene where there was a row of National Guardsmen that were supposed to be walking down the street, and he picked me to be in the front. Okay, so there was 12 of us, and there's 4 rows of 3 deep. We're walking down the street just scanning to make sure there's nothing going on, and we're supposed to walk right by the camera. So I walk right to the right of the camera. We do it several times, and I walk by the monitors where like the assistant director and all that. And the assistant director said, that should be in the trailer for the movie. That was awesome.
Your scene.
And now I'm thinking, oh my gracious, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, that movie came out, and it didn't make the cut. But
Okay.
the biggest movie that I've been in so far was last July. I got to be in Wonder Woman 84.
Okay.
And that was a massive production. And so I was getting ready to go on vacation, and luckily I was at the gym and I got a text message from a local casting director, and he said I had gone up for a casting call where they take your picture and you get the information, and he said we would like to have you come down and be. The director has actually looked at your picture and said she wants you as a muscle man in Wonder Woman 84. And you need to be there on, I think it was July 27th and 28th. Well, I was going to be on vacation.
Yeah.
Not knowing the importance of this thing, I was like, I got back to him, I said, I'm going to be on vacation and I won't be back. He goes, you might want to reconsider this because this is a big director and she's asking for you. So this would be really big for your career.
This is the moment you tell your wife,
well,
hey,
exactly.
I'm not a serial killer.
So
I'm
exactly.
Wonder Woman. Yeah.
So I go and I text my son, who I said earlier, me and him have this big love for film and all that. I text him and I text my wife and I said, this casting director said the director of this Wonder Woman 84 has picked me out, but I have to be back 2 days early from vacation.
Yeah.
And my son got back to me immediately and said, you're an idiot if you don't take the part. And so my wife got back and she said, you got to do it, just go back early, So I went back early. Well, it was filmed in D.C. outside, and it rained that weekend, so it was canceled. So it was put to the next weekend, but I mean, I got to be in it. And in doing that, it's amazing, wherever you are, when you're acting, people are watching, okay? Mm-hmm. So on the set of that show, or that movie, last January, my wife and I are at the Columbia Mall, and we are sitting at a Starbucks and having a cup of coffee. It's a Sunday afternoon, and I look at my phone. I have an email, and I can't say the name of the person, I think, but it's a huge producer in Hollywood. Yeah. And he said, "Dear Scott, this is so-and-so. I'm one of the producers of Wonder Woman 84. We would like to call you about another movie about a big part. Can we call you?" And I'm thinking, of course you can call me. Yeah. So I say, sure, anytime, okay? So that was on a Sunday. It's cold, it's January, I haven't heard anything all week. I just get back from the gym. I'm going out and walk my dog. The dog goes out, and then we're coming back, and I see a call from California. I was like, oh my, this is the guy. Magic. So now I answer the phone, I'm like, yes. And he goes, Scott, is this Scott Swope? I said, yes. And he said, this is so-and-so. And he goes, do you remember my email? I said, yeah. So anyway, he said, I'd like to have you speak with one of the directors, one of the producers of this film that we're going to put on. So he put me on with this person. Yeah. And long story short, she talked to me for like 2 hours. And we did 2 scenes improv. She said it was great. She said, my assistant is going to send you, we had talked about the Super Bowl. She said, my assistant is going to send you 2 tickets to the Super Bowl. And my other assistant is going to send you the sides for this role that we want you to play. And she said, we'll be in contact. So the Super Bowl was in 2 weeks. And never got a call.
How about that, folks? We start with football. We come full circle to the Super Bowl. But the most important thing about Scott Swope, it started with Dragonut Connects. Don't forget about us.
No.
Okay, because remember where you came from. and help us little people when you start
Oh,
doing
yeah,
these
right,
A-list
right.
A-list
No,
movies. But
I owe everything to him. I mean, he's unbelievable.
but thank you for being on the show,
I appreciate
the
it.
Actors Platform, and tell us, how do we find you? If there's a producer out there, casting director needs to find you, how do we find you?
So I'm on IMDb. Of course, I'm on the Dragonic website also. And then my contact information is all on IMDb.
Okay. There you go, folks. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it, love.
Welcome back. We might be continuing with the football theme here. My guest now is local actor Sabree Anderson.
Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you bet. My first guest also was in the NFL farm system, but and we talked about, he was a quarterback. You were a defensive lineman.
Oh, yeah. I be chasing them all day.
Okay, so you were chasing the quarterback. So
yeah, but he looked kind of fast though. So
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. They go my career.
So on as a lineman, there's got to be some improv going on for the opposite lineman. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you know, in playing D-line and stuff, I mean, you know, on defense, we got to make sure that the offense changes minds, because we have to make sure the offense runs what we want them to run. So, you know, we try to impede our will, so to say, you know what I'm saying, so everything could go smooth, and so everything could go our way. So I got a little knack for that.
Okay. And how do you use that towards your performing career or your aspirations?
Well, to be honest, other than being a team player and, as you said, playing football, it'll give you tough skin, because in this business you have to have tough skin. Mm-hmm. Because as you know, they say no all the time, like 90% of the time, and you know, it gives you nice to improv and stuff like that. You know, problem solve and stuff like that. So trust me, as soon as you do your resume and build your career, you're going to need the tough skin.
Okay. Now, have you had projects where you played the football player?
Yes. Come to think of it, played 2 years of Cheney football in Division II, and I was a two-time All-Defense Pennsylvania, and I I did 2 weeks in Buffalo Bill camp, and I'm an ex-arena football player. Okay. So when I retired in 2009 from Albany, New York, because I also do security in D.C. Okay. So when I came back, it wasn't until somebody at a club randomly said, "Hey man, you should try acting." Yeah. And I said, "Nah, man, acting is like for the theater and you gotta hold the skull."
No offense for us stage people.
Right, for the stage people and stuff like that. So even holding the skull and all this, to be or not to be, and one of my homeboys said, "No, fool, like playing football, you can play it, in the movie." Okay. They look for football players. So when I asked in what direction I should go, somebody mentioned Brian Dragnet.
Okay. So you had a friend that was sort of the catalyst. It wasn't a particular event, but a buddy or homeboy said, "Hey, Sabree, you need to get into acting."
Yeah, they said you got a personality and all that stuff, and you're an ex-football player, like put it to good use and stuff. So, got on Brian Dragnet, and that's how I started in 2012.
2012. Now, how did you find out about it? Was a friend?
Yeah, the friend had another friend, I think, that was already on Brian Dragonut. So he said, check it out, see if you like it and stuff. And I saw all the, listings and the jobs and stuff. So, just tried to shoot my shot. My first pitches was like football pitches.
Okay.
So once I sent the pitches, the first shot I did was 2012. I did RG3's first commercial. For the Redskins.
Yeah.
It was like Addy Zero, something like that. And it was, principal role, running around. We was in DC, Rain Machine and everything, and you could YouTube it and stuff. And next thing I know, I'm here with you. So,
right. So let's rewind a little bit. Where'd you grow up? Where are you from?
I was born in Washington, D.C., but I grew up around Lanham, Maryland, around New Carrollton. I went to Bladensburg High School, so I'm an old head. I've been around for a little bit.
Okay. And then D2, Cheney University?
Yeah, we played Millsville, Westchester, Bowie State. I beat Bowie State, but, the guys really don't want to mention that because my school wasn't that good. So.
Okay, so probably already established that academics, you weren't doing theater at Cheney University.
No, not at all. Not at all, man, not at all.
So you finish, you play arena football, you come back to D.C.
Come back to D.C.
A buddy says, hey, you should try acting. So any particular, besides football, any training you received on set or for any roles you played, if you had to handle a gun? I know I saw a clip of you with the machete.
Yeah.
So I know you can use a machete.
Yeah, home training, but we're not going to say nothing about that. The way I approached acting, I was kind of the opposite as most of. I was in when I did the NFL commercials. I also was a football player on Dark Knight. That was Magnus Rex. We shot in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And I was also on Best Man Holiday 2. So I was opposite as I started doing all football stuff for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was also on Will Smith Focus when he's betting on the game and stuff.
Okay.
So it wasn't until the football age, because arthritis and stuff like that. Right.
Yeah.
So they was like, you need to start transitioning in front of the camera. So I took classes at the theater lab right in DC.
Okay.
So
there you still taking classes there?
Once in a while, but improv, Meisner, you got to really get into it. I've been union for like 4 years, so
okay.
Well,
the important thing is I wouldn't discount all that work as football player in these projects because it's part of your demo reel.
Yes.
So just like the Actors platform, this interview right now is to give you a platform and say, okay, this is Sabree Anderson.
Yeah. In the flesh.
What has been your favorite project to date?
Well, my favorite project to date, because I also work out of town in Atlanta, New York, and stuff like that. I met some awesome actors on the way, even here, all the way from years from acting. So I was just on Escape at the Moria with Benicio del Toro on it,
oh, wow.
and the director was Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
And we were shooting at Kaufman Studios up in up in New York, stuff like that. And I did not know Ben Stiller, his ears are that big.
Yeah.
They're like, right?
Okay.
So other than that, getting hands-on, and I also was in Jamesy Boy with Ving Rhames and stuff like that. So no, it's just that adventures going through.
You just keep grinding.
Yeah, you just keep grinding. But it wasn't until Best Man Holiday 2 we shot all week. We actually do football scenes, but we had 14-hour shoots that I was like, nah, acting's real, man. You gotta have love for this, yes.
Any projects right now you're working on?
Well, right now, at the Hoyt Theater in July 28th, it's a movie, London and James, that is gonna come out, I think, like I said, the end of July. And right now, we have, I did a 48-hour festival, which was fun.
Okay.
And I mentioned anybody should do it to get some. But other than that, now just be doing local commercials and eating burgers and stuff like that. So
you're still you're getting those updates, those daily updates from Dragonut Connects.
Yes, sir.
So Sabree, can't help, you've got a great, deep voice that,
Well, they do call me Barry White.
Barry White.
Yeah, Barry White.
Have you done, or has anybody suggested voice?
Well, I'm gonna start doing voiceover workshops probably in another month or so. Somebody mentioned it, but always, actor's resume, you always gotta keep improving. So
Right.
voiceover, teleprompter, stuff like that. If you're trying to be a working actor, you have to have everything covered and stuff. So I'm gonna start getting on that next month.
Right.
And congratulations on the host job, man.
Well, thank you.
You're doing an awesome job.
Yeah, we're not here to talk about me though.
Oh,
we're here
man,
to
go
talk about
ahead,
you.
man. Go ahead.
Maybe I can sit in that chair.
You're
next
so
time.
modest, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
So how do we reach you? How do we find you, Sabree? What's the best way to reach you?
I have Sabree Anderson on Actors
I'm sorry,
Access.
Sabree.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Okay.
Sabree, Subway,
I've been correct.
either or. It's fine. We're all human.
Yeah.
On Actors Access, Sabree Anderson. On Brian Dragnut.
Dragonut Connects.
Yeah, Dragonut Connects, Sabree Anderson. IG, Wowie 00. I'm all around. And if all else fails, you'll catch me in the city. And if you're drunk, I'll be throwing you out and be like, I know that dude. He's an actor.
So there's certain nightclubs that you're working the door.
Yeah.
That's good to know, folks.
Yeah.
Late night after production, you got to look for Sabree.
Yes.
And mention Dragonut Connects.
Yes. I'll hand you my card while I'm kicking you out the club. Yes.
Great. Thank you for being our guest.
Thank you for having me, sir. Thank you for having me.
We'll see you next time on the Actors Platform.